Awesome. So today's topic, and again, this is kind of stemming from the situation that occurred today. And this is why I wanted to talk about it, because it was a really great reminder and a perfect opportunity to, again, control controllables and control how we react. And all of it really comes down to and it stems from mindset. So today's topic is going to be all about mindset and how our mindset should, I guess, somewhat be. So that's what we're talking about today. So let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all. Cool beans and share. Perfect. So everybody can see this, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. So again, today's topic is going to be all about mindset. Nothing too crazy. Why? Well, the importance behind it. So basically, what we're going to be doing is exploring really how our mindset, the vision for even not just our company, but ourselves, having a mission statement, having core values, why these are really essential to our business when it comes to wholesaling, but also us as individuals as well, because this is really the fundamental building blocks as to one, self-development, but two, having a strong business systems. Really, it comes down to business systems, but it's really good fundamental building blocks for your business systems. So that's why we're going to talk about this today. It also helps everybody in your team and yourself as well. If it's just you, it helps you understand where you're going and where you want to take your business. Okay. So we're going to dive a little bit more into that because that's very surface level, but let's dive into it. So what exactly is mindset? Well, the definition of mindset basically refers to the established set of attitudes held by somebody that influences how they perceive and how they respond to situations. So, for example, with today's whole situation with this tire, I could have been super just pissed off and just defeated by it because everything that you can imagine or everything you can imagine to go wrong when doing a simple tire change when you're putting on a spare tire went wrong. Who would have thought a car jack would fail? Who would have thought a car jack not only would fail, but would actually warp on you and the car falls? I've never in my life have I ever heard of anything like that as far as like a simple tire swap goes. And I've never seen it. So just like, it was one of those situations like, man, everything was sideways. And it didn't just follow me one time. No, the car fell twice. It fell twice. But I couldn't allow that to dictate the rest of the day because it was so early in the day. It was like it was about 7:30 when I started doing all this. So I couldn't let that dictate it. So I had to be aware of my response and understand that that was an opportunity for me to respond in one or two different ways. But it also gave me the understanding and the patience to realize if I respond in a negative way, it is going to completely destroy the rest of my day. But if I look at this as a potential opportunity to be patient and to show strength, then it just puts you on a whole different elevation. It's a whole different ballgame. And so that's what I did. I looked at these as opportunities. And this is why your mindset matters in real estate, because in real estate, you want to have a strong mindset because that is going to build resilience when you're facing challenges, when you're facing obstacles, when you're going through a dry spell, when you're just not getting a whole lot of deals coming into the pipeline. Because it happens. Real estate has seasons. It does, especially during the winter months. It will have seasons. It will slow down. So having resiliency is really going to play a very important part in your business, not just in real estate, but also in your everyday life as well. Because you can take these principles, apply them not only to your business, but you can apply them into your personal life and it will make differences and it will make changes. You need to be resilient when you're faced with obstacles, when you're faced with hurdles, when you're faced with challenges. You also need to have the ability to be innovative. There's a really great quote by Charles Darwin, which is funny because I don't believe in evolution, but I do believe in this quote. And he says, "It is not the strongest or the smartest who survive, it is the most adaptable." So you need to be able to be adaptable to your circumstances. You need to be able to be adaptable to your situation. If this is not working, if plan A isn't working, make changes. This is why you do split testing. When you split test things, you're able to read the data and determine what works better than the other. And you go with the one that works the best. So when you're doing things like this, you have to be innovative. You have to have the ability to be adaptive because it's going to be really important. Okay. And most importantly, you have to be growth minded. There's a really great book, and I'll have this reference at the very end, but there's a really great book that talks about the minds, two different mindsets. You've got growth minded and you've got fixed minded. And man, they're just totally different. Like it's totally two different people. Have you ever come across somebody that, I guess is like falling into habitual patterns and they just never learn? They're doing the same thing over and over and over again. They're getting the same results, but all they do is complain about where they're at. They're just not doing anything to change it. I know a lot of people like that. I'm sure you guys do know. Y'all do too. But then you get that individual who learns as they go. So for every experience, every season that they've had in life, they're able to grow out of it and adapt, and they're able to change. They become adaptable with it. They learn from their experiences. So it is very vital and it's important to understand that these seasons you go through, these storms you go through, you have to learn from. For every failure, there is a learning lesson. And as long as you're learning, you're really not failing. So honestly, the only time you fail is if you quit. If you quit, that is when you fail. That's it. But if you're moving forward, if you're taking consistent action going forward, and you're falling and you're falling and you're falling and you're falling, that's okay because you're able to learn. You grow from those experiences. Doing that will always get you further than just quitting because you ran into obstacles. So that is why it's important to have a really solid mindset, because this is going to be the foundation block of everything you do, not just in business, but in life. So when it comes to developing the right mindset, there are a few characteristics that really aren't in just successful wholesalers that are doing real estate, but these are characteristics that are in individuals that are doing all different forms of entrepreneurship. These are characteristics that are in professional athletes. These are characteristics that are in actors and actresses. These are just really great characteristics to have if you want to be truly relentless in your endeavors. You have to have resiliency. We've already talked on that. We've already covered it. You got to have that ability. You got to be like a basketball. You have to be able to bounce every single time. You got to bounce back. You have to get up, even if you fall. You have to keep going. And then you have to be a really good problem solver. And one of the things I forgot to put on here isn't necessarily just being a proactive problem solver, but you first have to understand and be a problem finder. That's key, because you can't solve problems without first understanding what the problems are. And you can't understand what these problems are if you're not actively seeking or actively listening or asking the right questions to your prospect. So you have to take yourself out of the equation, disassociate yourself from the sale. You cannot be attached to a deal. You have to detach yourself from a deal, because if you're attached to a deal, you're going to come off as being pushy. You're going to be aggressive. You're going to come off as being desperate. You're going to lower your status in their mind. It's just not a good look. But if you detach yourself from the deal itself and you just focus on providing a real, genuine, true service, it's a whole different whole different ball game that you're in. Because now you're coming off as a trusted authority. You're not coming off as like salesy. You're not coming off as aggressive or pushy, because you don't need the deal, and that's how they're perceiving you. Like, man, this guy really does not need the deal. And here's a great example. When I talk to people all the time, I'll ask them everything that's going on, and I'll tell them, I was like, it sounds like things are going, fairly well for you. I don't really know if I'd be able to help out with kind of what you have going on. I guess, have you thought of other avenues other than a cash offer? Because now I'm trying to push them away from a cash offer. Why am I doing that? I'm doing it because it's, one, it's a pull away. Two, I'm just actively showing them that I am disassociating myself from that sell. And three, it shows them that I'm not there to make a quick buck. It's like, look, I may not be your best bet. What other avenues have you looked at? How else can I help you? Let's look at this together. So that is really, really key. Being a problem finder is key. Apologies for not throwing it in here, but it is very key. And then that's when you want to be able to proactively problem solve what it is that they do have going on. And that's where you're able to troubleshoot and connect. It's like, you've got all these issues that we just talked about. Here's how I may be able to help you. And if this sounds like it may be the answer for you, then we can talk about possible next steps. Like, would that help you? They're going to say yes, inevitably. But you want to have active problem solving skills, not just when you're talking with your sellers or with your prospects, but in every aspect of your business and in life. But it all starts from actively listening to what is going on. From there, every real successful entrepreneur, one big commonality that they all have is they're continuously seeking to grow. This is why you have masterminds. This is why you have, really think about this. When you look at professional athletes, yes, they have, their head coach for their team. But do you think they go to third-party sources to get better? Yes, 100%. You think Grant Cardone learned everything by himself? No. Do you think he has a mentor? Yes, he does. I know for a fact that he does. What about Tony Robbins? Tony Robbins is like huge in, the self-development space. Do you think he had a mentor? He did. Jim Rohn was his mentor. So you have all these massive influential people in all of these different areas and different walks of life. The one big commonality that they've all got is, if they've accumulated a good amount of wealth and success, is that they all grow in their learning, whether on themselves, whether it's on their business, whatever it is, they're seeking consistent and continual growth. How can I learn more? So having that mindset is going to be really vital, not just for your business, but for what you're doing and even yourself as an individual, because self-growth really does go a long ways. So now, with that, tackled a little bit on this from the book that I had mentioned earlier. Now, I'll just tell you. The book is called Mindset, and it's by Carol S. Dweck. This is one of the earliest books that I started reading. It is a phenomenal read. It's a fast read. It's a quick read, but it is a great read. And it talks about the different mindsets and different aspects of life. Phenomenal book. But how do you cultivate a growth one? So I went ahead and just listed a few, points to do it. So to quick summarize it, when you're faced with a challenge, when you're faced with an obstacle, embrace it. In the military, well, I won't say in all branches of the military, well, yeah, pretty much. But in the special operations community, there's a saying that we all have, and it's embrace the suck. Embrace the suck. So when you're going through Ranger School, when you're going through Special Forces, when you're going through Delta or MARSOC, whatever it is, your body is really being tested. And more so, your mindset is really being tested. You have to have a very strong mental fortitude to get through these trainings, these schools, because it really is not for everybody. Like, you've got less than maybe a tenth of the total population of the entire world that has gone through this and actually made it through. It is a very, very rigorous process. But to keep each other going, we tell each other to embrace the suck. So if you're going through a period of time, if you're going through a season, embrace it. Embrace it and learn from it. Okay? Embrace it and learn from it, because that is going to be an opportunity for you to grow, whether it's in business, or whether it's in your personal life, whatever it is, embrace it as an opportunity to grow, because that's really what it is. When it comes to adaptability and resilience, you have to be able to persist when you're hit with setbacks that were unexpected. Okay. So understanding, and again, I tackled this already, but understanding that failure is just a part of the learning process is very key. It's key, because if you're not failing, let's be real, if you're not failing, you're not taking action. I mean, you may be taking action, right? Inaction is still action. And that will lead to failure because you're not doing anything. But really, when you fail, it's really just when you quit. When you are done. That's it. When you tap out, that's when you failed. But if you're falling face first, time after time again, in the pursuit of your dream and the pursuit of your ambitions and the pursuit of your goals, that is not failure. That is learning. You are learning in that process. Think about the amount of immense pressure, and I know all of you have heard this analogy, but think about the amount of immense pressure a diamond is needed in order for it to become a diamond. It is required. If you're not going through the ring, hell, you're probably not going to last long. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you have stuff, caught myself. If you have stuff that is handed to you throughout your business ventures and you just have everything working out for you, you're not faced with challenges, you're not faced with hard times, what do you think is going to happen when you're hit? Somebody comes up and just hits the heck out of you and you fall flat on your butt. You fall flat on your face like you've never experienced before. Do you think you're going to have the same resiliency? No, not at all. And it happens all the time. Happens all the time. So the more crap you go through, the more crap that you deal with, and the more crap that you're able to climb out of, the more resilient you're going to become. The thicker your skin is going to get. The harder it is, the harder it's going to be to knock you down. The stronger the foundation of your house will be. You have to go through these growing pains. It's inevitable. You have to. If you don't, it's going to be a problem. I promise. So with that, you need to see it as an effort, really as a path to mastery, and recognize that the effort that you're putting in is inevitably going to lead you to improvement and overall just success, because you have to, again, when you're going through the hard times, it is forging you into becoming a better business owner and a better person. But ultimately, it's going to come down to what? It's going to come down to your mindset and how you perceive these things. Perception lies within the eyes of the beholder, and perception is everything. So what does it mean? What does perception lies within the eyes of the beholder? What does that mean? That means you and I could see two different things. We can go through the same experience and experience the exact same thing and have two different perspectives. Your perceptions are your own perceptions, and they lie within how you perceive them, how you believe them to be. If you have self-limiting beliefs, you're only going to see these things as self-limiting beliefs. But if you have a mindset that is growth oriented, and you're actively driving, you're actively adapting, you're resilient, and you're pushing, you're going to do great things. You're going to do great things. You can't think otherwise. So with that, you need to also have, again, thick skin and learn from criticism. You need to be able to use feedback as a tool for growth. You do have constructive criticism, and you could take it one of two ways. You could take it, let it beat you down however you want, or you could take it and grow from it. Constructive criticism can forge you to do better. That is what you need. You need feedback. If you want improvement, you need to have honest and transparent feedback from everybody that's around you and sees everything you're doing. So when you're running your business, transparency and feedback are going to be very key in order to keep everybody on the same page, in order to keep everybody moving forward and continuously believing in the vision, in the mission statement, in the core values, in the direction that you're leading your team. You need to have transparency and you need to seek consistent feedback, because without it, you are not going to grow. It is not going to happen. Finally, you need to find the lessons and gain the inspiration from the success of others. If you have the ability to learn from the achievements of others and even the experience of your peers or even your mentors, it's going to cut your learning curve in half. It's going to cut that learning curve in half. You're also going to learn a lot more lessons. For example, biggest lesson I learned last year was to have everything in writing. Every agreement you come across, have it in writing. Otherwise, you can get cut out of a $240K deal. Learn from experience. I should have known that before then, but I didn't. But you know what? It's a learning experience. So take that from me, have all of your agreements in writing, because it's going to help you in the long run. But take these lessons, because you can gain them from anywhere. You can gain it from your peers. You can gain it from your mentors. You can gain it from authors and books. You can gain a lot of life lessons, a lot of business lessons from books. You'd be surprised with how much information you can gain from one book. It's amazing. So use them. So with that, here's what I want to dive into more of, or dive more into. I want to dive more into the visions for ourselves and for our business and our company, but I also want to dive into mission statements and core values. And we'll talk about the difference between a vision and a mission statement and also why they're important. But diving into it, what is a vision? A vision statement, it outlines what you aim to achieve in the future, serving as a clear guide for choosing current and future courses of action. What does that mean? It means you are not shooting in the dark. If you go, let's say you set up a target that's 75 yards away and you have a blindfold on, or let's say you have it even better, you have a target 75 yards away and you're trying to shoot it with the shotgun shooting buckshots in comparison or versus shooting it with a rifle. What do you think is going to be more effective? What do you think is more likely to hit the target? Probably the rifle, not the shotgun, the rifle. It's going to be more effective. It's going to be more precise. And you're going to have a higher probability of actually hitting this target. That is what your vision is. Your vision is your roadmap. It is your sense of direction to get to where you want to go. If you're running a company or a business and you do not have a vision statement in place, you need to have one, because it is vital. It's going to be very, very vital, not just now and not just for you, but it's going to be vital in the long run. And it's also going to be very vital for everybody on your team, because you need to have everyone on your team understanding and believing in the vision of the company. If you have members in your team that do not believe in the vision, it's probably not the best fit. This is going to come down to acquisitions talent, which is ensuring you have the right people in the right seats. And if you have an individual that is not on board and does not believe in the vision that you have for the company, or that the company is driving, they're not going to be a good fit. They're not. So cut it right in the butt right then and there. Have a vision in place. So here's an example of a vision. To be the leading provider of affordable homes in Dallas-Fort Worth, or to empower clients through education and property solutions. Okay. These are just two examples that I threw out on the spot. But these are visions. These are vision statements that are going to help you and everybody on your team understand why you were doing what you were doing and what you were trying to perfect. It is your craft. Okay. Understanding that is very, very important. So have a vision in place. When you're creating a vision, you want to keep it aspirational. You want to aim high. You really do, to inspire not just yourself, but also your team. It is always better to aim for the stars and land among the moon than it is to aim for the moon or aim for the stars and land among the eagles or something like that. I totally butchered that, but you get it. You get what I'm saying. You're picking it up. You're picking up what I'm putting down. That's what matters. Have these big, audacious dreams and go for them. Go for them. They need to inspire you. Then you need to ensure that it aligns with your personal values, but also with the core values of the company. And we'll talk on this more, but you need to make sure that it really embraces your personal values, the personal values that mean the most to you. And you need to have at least five core values for yourself and for your company, because that is going to be very important. So ensure that your vision is really just up there. It's inspirational, but it also embraces your personal values. So if servitude is one of my core values. If servitude is one of them, it needs to embrace servitude. Now, you also want to ensure that it's not so, you want to ensure it's broad enough for growth. Okay. You need to make sure that you have room in it for the business to evolve, because your business will evolve with time. As time goes on, your vision statement will adjust and it will change. And again, this comes back to adaptability. It comes back to being adaptable. Okay. So as you grow as an individual, so will your business, because your business is essentially really a part of you. And a lot of it is going to stem from you. So make sure that it too is adaptable. And it's not anything that is 100% set in stone, because it can be changed. Okay. Now, why is it important to have a clear vision? We kind of tackled a lot, and I think we tackled quite a bit as to why, but let's dive more into it. So your vision, again, is your roadmap. It's your roadmap. It's going to help you make the choices that you need to make. It's going to help you understand, really, your long-term objectives for what you've got going on in your business. It's going to help you figure out, like, hey, think about it like this. When you're driving, let's say like Arkansas. I have no idea how to get to Arkansas. I'd have to use a GPS. I got to use a GPS. Okay. If you wanted to go, let's say, I don't know, Destin, Florida. Does anybody here know how to get to Destin, Florida without a GPS? I don't. That is the vision. That's why we have to have the vision, because it shows us how we get to our end result. Our vision will be broken down into actionable steps. It'll be broken down to actionable goals. It'll be broken down into rocks. So your vision is the big picture broken down, but we can't understand how to break down these steps unless we understand where we're going in the first place. That is why it's important to have a clear, concise vision, because it's going to help you understand what business decisions you're going to make. Now, the role of the vision is really to motivate not only just yourself, but your team. So a compelling vision needs to inspire and really bring everybody together to foster a shared commitment of common goals. And again, this is acquisitions talent, putting the right people in the right place. You need to make sure that your vision brings everybody together and everybody's in the same boat, everybody's on the same page, and we're all rowing this boat in the same direction, because it's important. Last thing you want is have people on your team playing tug of war, and now you've got like some Squid Games stuff kind of going on. You don't want Squid Games. That's terrible. So don't do it. Now, mission statements. What is a mission statement? And then what is the difference between a mission statement and a vision statement, or a vision, because they're totally different. So a mission statement really defines the present state and the primary objectives of an organization. It focuses on what they do, who they serve, and how they serve them. So with that, what would be your mission statement? So far, we've got vision. This is your homework. Remember, this is homework. Figuring out what is your vision. What is the vision for what you're doing? What is the vision for your company? Now we're going to dive into the mission statement. So what is the difference? So a vision looks to the future that you're aiming to create. It looks for the long run. It's the big picture. This is where you want to be 10 years from now. That is your vision. A mission statement, your mission focuses on the present, and it outlines the ongoing operations that reflect the core of your business. So while your vision is your big picture item, your mission statement is, this is where we're at now. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it, and this is where we're going. Your mission breaks down the actionable steps. It will ultimately break down the actionable steps to get you to your long-term vision. So it's very important. So here are some examples. To connect distressed property owners with solutions-oriented real estate investments, or to provide top-notch real estate services that exceed our clients' expectations. Two mission statements that came to the top of my head, threw them out on there. Easy peasy, nothing crazy. It's super simple and straightforward. And that's another thing. Implement the acronym KISS. Keep it super simple. Simplicity goes a very long ways. So when you're crafting your mission statement, you need a few components. One, it needs to be clear, it needs to be actionable, and you need to have inclusive of the actual company's purpose, of your business's purpose. Okay. So clear, it needs to be really very easily understood by everybody on your team. Everybody needs to understand what your mission statement is. If you go up to your team or anybody on your team and you're asking, you quiz them or you ask them, pop questions. Is it a pop question? It is a pop question. Popcorn question? Pop question. It's a pop question. You ask them, what is our mission statement? And they don't know. That's a problem. Everybody on your team should know what your mission statement is. Really, they should. Because if they don't understand where they're at, where they're going, and where they're trying to be. So understanding that is very, very important. Actionable. It really needs to specify what your business does. Cut and dry, like a bologna sandwich. Super simple. It needs to explain what your business does. What do you do? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? You need to understand these things, because if you don't understand these things, how are you going to have a business that is operable? If you don't understand these things, how are you going to build a business that's operable? You can't. You have to understand these things. Now, when it comes to being inclusive of the company's purpose, the strategy, the values, it needs to reflect why your business exists in the first place. It needs to break down how it's going to achieve its goals, and also, again, what principles or core values it is going to embrace. Okay. So for this one, our activity, our homework is to draft up a mission statement that's reflecting on business goals, our targeted audience, who do you want to target, and what value are you bringing to the table? What is your value proposition? So that is the homework that I've got for y'all on this one particularly. Okay, let's keep going. My favorite, core values. Okay. Sorry, I popped my back. So core values. What the hell are core values? Well, first off, what is a value? A value is anything you place importance on. Anything you place importance on. Okay, so your core values, these are going to be your fundamental building blocks of everything you do in life, not just business, but in life. So your core values are fundamental beliefs or principles that guide a business's behavior and decision making. For example, if your core value is integrity and you have the opportunity or somebody on your team is doing some shady crap, doesn't really sound like it's very in line with your core value. And so that will allow you to let that person go because they're not representing that particular core value. They're not upholding it. And it isn't helping you build your brand in a good way. So, example, think about New Western. Does New Western, do they have a great reputation? No. No, they have got a boo-boo reputation. Garbage. It is straight caca. No bueno. That is their reputation. Because they took advantage of their core values, because their people don't uphold their core values. That is why it's very, very important to understand what your core values really are. Okay. So through some examples, you've got integrity, accountability, excellence, teamwork, innovation. You've got servitude. You've got accountability, responsibility. Like there's tons and tons and tons that you can throw on, but you want to have at least 5. The best way to do this is using a Venn diagram. Draw a circle. It's going to look weird. Draw a circle, put values, and branch out to different things, different circles of different values. Create a Venn diagram of values. Out of those values, choose the top 5 that mean the most to you. Those 5 are what you and your business need to uphold when you're doing business dealings. So it's very important to understand what your core values are. Okay. Now, when you have your core values, you want to implement them. So how do you live them out? It sounds easier than you just do it. Just do it. Just live it out. It's not like anything complex or anything hard. Just do it. Integrate your values into your hiring practices. This is when you're building your team. Integrate it into your hiring practices, because that is going to, again, put the right people in the right seats from the very get-go. It's very important. Okay. You want to ensure that all your new hires are in alignment with your company values, because it is important. Okay. Then you want to have client interactions. When you're dealing with the prospect, when you're dealing with another wholesaler, when you're dealing with another agent or investor or private money lender, whatever it is, uphold those values with that interaction. Uphold them. That is why I try to stay away from transactional relationships as much as I can, because I'm not a big fan of them by any means. That's why I try to uphold like an actual relationship with everybody I come across, which is very difficult, by the way. Very difficult. But from there, put them in your business strategies. Make decisions that are consistent with your values, because if you're making a decision that goes against your core value, you're going to have this immense amount of conviction, and it's probably not going to be in the best direction for the company. And if you're offered an opportunity to make a decision that goes against the direction of the company, and it goes against the direction of your core values, you probably shouldn't make that decision. You probably shouldn't go with it, at least. So don't ignore what those values are, because those values are going to build your reputation, and your reputation is going to build your brand. You can build an amazing reputation over the span of 20 years, and all it takes is 5 minutes to destroy it.
I think your audio just went out. Can you hear me?
Darion.
Hey. Your audio.
We can't hear you.
Now it's good.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it connected to the car outside.
It's a little quieter now, though.
Dang it. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay. How's that?
It's not as good as before, but I can hear you.
Okay, how's that?
It's better, yeah.
Yeah?
Yep, way better.
Now I gotta figure out how the hell can I hear y'all?
Oh, you can hear me?
Ha! There we go. Got it.
Okay.
Got it. All right, cool. So yeah, you want to make sure that your core values are really in alignment with your business decisions. Because again, you could spend 20 years building a really great reputation and a really great brand. All it takes is 5 minutes to destroy it. So overall, a quick recap of the key points. Quick recap of a mindset. You want to emphasize the importance of having a positive, growth-oriented mindset and overcoming challenges and achieving success, in your wholesaling real estate ventures. Your vision, you want to highlight how having a clear vision provides a direction and inspiration, guiding your business decisions and long-term goals. And for your mission statement, you want to understand how this is really going to define your overall business's purpose, its primary objectives, to ensure that everybody in the organization, everybody in your team is on the same page and everyone's aligned with it. Then your core values. Oh, darn, I left the E right there. Dang it. Your core values. You want to understand the importance of having values, right? And shaping the overall culture you're going to make with your business and how it is going to behave. Because again, 20 years to make it, 5 years to destroy it. This needs to be consistent with every aspect of every decision you make within your business. Okay, so when you're applying these concepts, you want to have clarity and you want it to be focused and you want it to, concise. You want it to be concise because it's going to help make informed and strategic decisions. You want to have enhanced motivation. It helps with enhancing motivation and morale. So just a shared vision and values is going to foster a sense of purpose and commitment among your team. That is really going to be like it's detrimental. It's not detrimental, but it's important. I keep saying it's important. I need to stop saying that. And it's going to build a stronger brand identity. So the clearer your vision, the clearer your mission and values you have, the more trustworthy your brand is going to be because everybody is able to really stand behind it and uphold it in a positive way. And it's going to be really, really important. So that's why you want to have a recognizable brand. But aside from that, what do we do now? For now, here's a big one, another homework. Reflect on your mindset, reflect on your vision, your mission, and your values. And I really want to encourage you guys to take time to really like just deeply think about the aspects of how this is going to really just impact your business. Not just your business, but you as a whole. Like you have to understand how these elements are really important. They're very, very important to your daily actions. They're very important to who you are. They're important to just your foundation. Okay. Not just who you are as an individual, but also in any business venture that you go into. So when you do this, again, when you're doing this reflection, just take time out of your day, break down, just get a pen and paper, write down your vision. From your vision, determine where you want to be. What are the things that you want to achieve? When you're looking at your aspirations, what dreams do you want to have? Because again, these need to be big aspirations. If you're thinking too small, if all you're thinking about is wholesaling, you need to think bigger. Wholesaling is simply a stepping stone to get in real estate. What do you really want to do in real estate? That's the question. I guarantee you wholesaling should not be the answer. It should just be your entry point. But what do you really want to do in real estate? Have that as a vision, okay? And understand where you're at now. This is your mission. Understand where you're at now, what you have to do, what steps you need to take to get there. You need to break these things down into actionable steps. Okay. And then again, lastly, continual improvement. This is self-education. Self-education. I want to say it's Jim Rohn, who says formal education will earn you a living, but self-education will earn you a fortune. And it's so true. The more educated you become with different aspects, the more you're going to make, the more you're going to be able to do. There's a really great book. I'm going to leave you out with this other piece of homework as well. There's a phenomenal book, and it is an audio book. It's about 2.5 hours long, free on YouTube, called The Go Giver. Listen to it. Listen to that book. I posted it in the community. I don't think anybody actually responded to it or commented on it or anything. But there's a reason I posted that book or that audio book in that community. I'm not just going to post some random ass audio book in the community. I posted the audio book because it changed. It didn't change my perspective. It actually kind of did, to be honest, a little bit. But it affirmed what I'm doing. This book breaks down the secret to wealth. And I made a Facebook post about this with my friends and family asking what was the secret to wealth, just to see what their responses were. And not one person gave me the correct response. Had a bunch of different stuff. Compound interest. Love it. Compound interest. Another one was God. Another one was savings and putting savings aside. And I got another one that became very philosophical that was saying wealth isn't related to money or whatever it is. It's like none of these are really, I mean, they're good points, but none of them are actually answering the question. What is the secret to wealth? And the answer is giving. The more there are laws, irrefutable laws that will come into play when you give. You've got the law of influence. That's one of them. I've actively seen that in my life this past year since I've been doing all of this. You have the law of influence. I didn't even know that was a thing. It blew my mind. I was like, holy cow, that's a thing. It's wild. So that's a really important one, law of influence. And then you got the law of receiving. This one I'm terrible at. I suck at the law of receiving. This one I'm working on. The law of receiving is basically saying, when people offer you something, you simply take it. I suck at taking. I'm so bad at it, but I'm working on it. But this book is a phenomenal book. It's a phenomenal read. This is by far one of my best books the best books I've ever read. So read it because it's going to change a lot of things. I promise. It's a really great book. Now, here are some, I guess, additional resources. Kind of tackled this a little bit earlier on. Mindset by Carol S. Dweck. That's a really, really great one. Start with Why. Do I have that? No, it's in my closet. Start with Why by Simon Sinek is also a really good book. When it comes to podcasts, of course, you got Bigger Pockets, which is by Brandon Turner. Do Your Super Savvy. Bigger Pockets is a phenomenal podcast. It is also a really great resource for real estate in general. There's a lot of your questions can be answered on that podcast or on that website, biggerpockets.com. And then the Tony Robbins podcast. I never get tired of listening to his podcast because he just tackles so many really great points when it comes to psychology, when it comes to sales, when it comes to marketing, and even business. Now, courses, there's tons of online courses you can take when it comes to business planning and real estate investing. We're working on creating the best one out there. That's the goal. So that's the goal. Just bear with us. We're still got a lot of work to do, but that is the goal 100%. But as far as courses I would recommend as of now, man, it's kind of tough. It really is. There's 67 steps isn't too bad. When it comes to self-development, one of the first courses I ever got was the 67 steps. by Ty Lopez. And in this course, there's 67 modules. You listen to a module a day, and he basically just pours in and adds as much advice as he can for direction. And it does help. It did help out quite a bit, not gonna lie. It did. So that's a really good one. But that's all I've got as far as additional resources. And then, of course, you've got The Go Giver, phenomenal book. And I'm reading one right now called Relentless, also free audiobook on YouTube. So this is a 6.5-hour audiobook. But it is pretty phenomenal. So in the book, he uses a lot of basketball references. And he breaks people down in 1 of 3 categories. You're a cooler, you're a closer, or you're a cleaner. And as you read this book, you'll understand what he's talking about and what he's referring to. But I can tell you now, I'm a cleaner. The cleaners are the guys that go in and clean everything up. So when people fall down and mess everything or mess things up, these are the guys that come in, organize everything, bring everybody back on their feet, and they just go in and completely just I mean, they don't wreck it, but they wreck it in a good way. These are your cleaners. So again, the reason I'm bringing it up is because the more you read, the more you dive into your self-development, the further your mindset is going to grow. The more growth-minded you will become. We can't talk about mindset if we're not actively growing our mindset. It's just silly to think that. You have to be willing. You have to be willing and you have to want that growth. Because if you don't want that growth, and if you're not willing to grow, well, I hate to say it, but you're probably fixed-minded. There's nothing wrong with it, but you're creating a lot of limitations for yourself. Why would you want limitations for yourself when the sky is the damn limit? Stop creating these limitations for yourself. Stop creating these self-limiting beliefs because they're not true. You really can achieve a lot more than you could possibly imagine. Every single one of you has a skill set that will allow you to do that. Every single one of you has the ability to be relentless and has the ability to go out there and be a cleaner. But you have to bring it out of you. Got to bring it out of you. And just let it go. Let it run wild. Go out there and just dominate what it is that you're doing. Your mindset is absolutely key to doing this. It is key to doing this. The stronger your mindset, the further you're going to take it. The weaker your mindset, the longer it's going to take for you to get to where you need to go. You got to have a strong mindset. Does that make sense? Cool.
Yes.
What are y'all's thoughts?
I think that's everything that you said was 100% on point, and it's like I think you did say it was easier said than done as well. But I mean I just had a talk with Savannah just today out of all days as well around the same thing with mindset, and so it's kind of funny that you picked this topic as well the same day. So I just got a lot of work to do basically. So, but I appreciate it as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What are you struggling with, dude?
It's just kind of basically relates to what you said about sort of breaking things down so you can actually take action on things. I tend to look at the finished stuff, and then I stress myself out because I'm not there finished, and then I basically kind of sabotage myself in a way. I don't do anything thinking that there's so much to do, I guess, if that makes sense. So just do that. I guess pairing this sort of new thing I'm trying to do with work and managing that's where I'm encountering both things. Because I'm work, I have the same issue as well when breaking things down. So then I work at this and I'm not sort of recognizing what steps that I can take now. basically just it gets into the both of those things at the same time, I guess, made me, don't help much, I guess, if that. So just yeah, and also dealing with like sort of that the fixed mindset and sort of like negativity stuff. That's just something I've been working on, and still kind of, just trying to work through, I guess, as well.
The book Mindset, man, that's the second book I picked up when I started really this whole entrepreneurial journey, because I was very fixed minded. I thought I had it made, dude. Like, I was this 18-year-old kid who just made a special operations team in the military, going to all these schools, doing all this high speed stuff, doing all this cool guy stuff. I thought I was solid, bro. I did. I was like, man, I'm the youngest of my team to have made, or I'm the youngest of my unit to have made a team. I'm doing pretty dang good. Right. I was like, there's not a whole lot more that I could learn from really anybody that's kind of under or outside of the soft community. That's not true. You can learn from everybody, but that's just the mentality I had, man. Yeah. And so when life kicked, when life kicked me in the butt and I had to figure out what the hell I wanted to do outside of the military, I didn't have much options, dude. I went to high school, graduated, went straight into the military. Didn't go to college, didn't get a bachelor's, didn't get associates, none of that, man. I went to, what I did do? I went to the fire academy. And you know what I did with that? I didn't do anything with that. Nothing. So I had to figure out what am I going to do with myself, right? But I had to break it down like, okay, what kind of man do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Where do I want to be in life? And what are the things that I want to accomplish? So I started reading, because one of my values, one of the breakdowns that I had was growth. It was about growth. And I knew that the only way I was going to grow is if I popped that bubble and stepped out of my comfort zone. So I started reading. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was probably the first book I read. And then I read Mindset by Carlos Dweck. And as I'm reading the book, dude, I'm like, I don't need to read this. I already know I'm growth minded. I don't need to read this. As I kept reading, I was like, oh, I'm definitely not growth minded. That's for sure. Pretty, fixed in my ways, So I had to do a lot of reflection. And that's what allowed me to really determine what my vision for my life was going to be. And from there, man, it's been consistent little bitty baby steps along the way. Slow action is always better than no action at all. It's taken me almost a full decade, almost 10 years to get to where I'm at. And I don't even think I'm there yet. I think I still got a long ways to go, man. I think I got a long ways to go. But this is one of the points I made, is like growing, understanding where your peers, understanding where your mentors came from, learning from their experiences and growing from their experiences. That's why I put it in here, dude, because I didn't have anybody teaching me this crap. Nobody taught me, wholesaling real estate for the most part. I had a course by Cody Spurwood, but it was very surface level stuff. It taught me the very basic fundamentals. But outside of that, dude, I had to go through a YouTube university dude, I had to go through a 2.5-hour video to understand how the Trek contract worked. There's a guy, I can't remember his name. I feel so bad, but I remember his company's name. His company is called Emerson Property Management Group, based out of Houston. This dude spent 2.5 hours, took the time out of his day, put together a video on how to use this contract. That's how I used that. I studied that video like night and day. That's how I got so familiar with it. So when I presented my first Trek agreement to the homeowner, I was able to break it all down because I spent so much time diving into it. But that was my journey, bro. Like, that's how I had to learn. I went through the school of hard knocks. And there was a lot of hard knocks. And this is why we have to be resilient, because you're going to face those moments. That's why so many people get into this industry and they drop like a fly and get the hell out, because it is hard. It is not easy, dude. So understanding that whole myth of you can get a deal done in 30, 60 days and make X amount of money. Yeah, it is true. It is. You can. But the likelihood of doing that is slim. That is very slim. So understanding and having the correct expectations for what you're getting into when you're getting into this industry is the difference between sticking with it and falling out.
Yeah.
Because if you have the expectations that, hey man, I can make 20 grand in 60 days. When you're first coming in, you have no idea what wholesale real estate is. You don't have systems in place. You don't have any contracts in place. You have no idea what the hell you're doing. Good luck.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need it. That's the only way you're going to get a deal done is if you have luck. So good luck, bro. Because it's just very unrealistic. A more realistic time frame is 6 months. 6 months for your first deal. If you can understand that and have that expectation and manage that expectation up front, that it's going to take you 6 months to do one deal, you're going to set yourself up for success. Because what you're doing, if you stick with this, if you really stick with it and you learn as much as you can, you learn from everybody you can learn from, and you're actively taking action, it should take you less than 6 months. Really, it should take you about 4. But you have to stick with it. And you have to have that expectation, because this is not an easy game by any means. This is a very stressful game. It is a very difficult game. It requires a whole lot of playing pieces and understanding. It's a tough game, dude, but it is very rewarding.
Yeah.
It is rewarding. So when it comes to inaction, don't overthink it. Analysis paralysis is a real thing, 100%. You can study day in, day out for a year. I had a conversation with a guy maybe about a week ago. He had been studying wholesaling for the last 8 years. 8 years before he decided to take action. And when we were sitting down, I started asking him some questions about the processes of wholesaling, and he couldn't answer them. The reason he couldn't answer them is because he hadn't experienced it. Analysis paralysis will keep you held back, and it'll keep you in your seat. So let it go. Let it go and just move forward. Take action. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to force you to take action. Okay? Here's what you're going to do.
Okay.
Go to Walmart. I kid you not. Go to Walmart. I'm dead serious, bro.
I'm writing
Go to
down.
Walmart. You are going to buy cardboard boxes. Get at least 10 cardboard boxes. Get a big old Sharpie, one of those fat Sharpies, like the big fat Sharpies. Get one of those big old fat Sharpies. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut these boxes up into squares, signs, and you're going to write, I buy houses cash. And from there, you're going to set up a Google Voice account because it's free. And you're going to put that number on your sign. So anytime your Google Voice goes off, guess who's calling you? Somebody from your sign. Okay? Now, what else do you need? You need zip ties. You have to have zip ties because of what you're going to do. And you want to do this late at night, by the way. You don't want to do this in the middle of the day. Okay?
Okay.
You're going to do this late at night. You're going to take these zip ties. You're going to take these signs. You're going to puncture holes at the top of the sign and the bottom of the sign. You're going to go to every stop sign you can see. And I'm going to give you some zip codes. You've got, let's see, how close are you to Mesquite?
Not really close. I'm in McKinney. So
You're in McKinney?
yeah.
Well,
But I mean, obviously it's a drive, so it's not.
you're probably going to be closer to Mesquite than you would Dallas, South Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to go to Mesquite. You're going to go to 75. Write this zip code down because this is where you're going. You're going to go to 75149.
49.
That is the zip code you're going to target.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to go there and you're going to be driving. Essentially, you're going to drive for dollars, but you're going to be putting out these signs and you're going to zip tie these signs to stop signs. What you're doing is you're replacing bandit signs in one of the hottest zip codes in all of DFW.
Okay.
Okay. That is massive action. Huge action. And how much is it going to cost you to do that? Less than $100 with the material and gas.
Right.
Just leave them out there, dude. Leave those signs out there. You don't need to go back and get them. The cardboard boxes. Why the hell do you want them?
Yeah.
Leave them out there, dude. And see how much traction you get. See how many calls you get in. Now, if somebody calls you from the city, just go ahead and hang up because you don't want to talk to them.
Yeah, I mean that's
okay.
All right. Mesquite's pretty big. I thought it was gonna be smaller area, but
no, it's a good size, bro. And here's what you're gonna do. So you're gonna do this, and you're gonna keep me in the loop for everybody that calls you. And I want you to keep tally. I want you to keep track. Now you need a CRM system. Are you using anything for a CRM?
No, I honestly, that's the thing. Like I haven't even done that, you know.
You're fine, dude. I got you.
Well,
Go to. You've got two. You got two that you can use. You've got airtable.com and you've also got Trello.com.
Okay. Yep.
You can use either or, and they're both free. Okay. And essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to create your own CRM system. So with both of them, they're both very integratable. They're both very customizable, and you can do a whole lot with them. Like they're both really great tools. I like both of them a lot. I'm using Trello right now more than I am using Airtable. But again, they allow you to do the same things. Actually, I would say Airtable allows you to do a little bit more. And it's free. It's free for 5 members. You can invite 5 people to your Airtable board. Okay. But you're going to use one of these two, and you're going to create a CRM system. So for every lead that comes in, it's weird. For every lead that comes in, you're going to plug them into your CRM system. Okay. You and I, we can get together and we can look at how to build this system out. How do you need to set up your CRM? Because there are different stages that you need. You've got new contact, you've got contact made, contact needed. Like there's a bunch of different stages that you can plug in. So we'll get together and we'll look at how to build out your Airtable CRM or your Trello, whichever one. But look at both of those tonight. Tell me which one you want to work on, and we'll dive into it because I'm proficient with both. Okay.
Gotcha.
That is going to be your CRM system. So anytime these leads are coming in, you're plugging them into your system. You're going to keep up with them in your system. All right. And to take it a step further, to help you, I'll guide you throughout this entire process. So when you have either Trello or Airtable set up, you're going to invite me into your system so I can see what the hell you have going on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll hold you accountable, keep you up to speed on what's going on where, what's happening where, what's happening with this lead, what's happening with this lead, what's happening with this lead. Does that make sense?
Yes. Quick question. If I don't hang up with the signs and when people call, you're just basically like, oh, you know, maybe name, get the number, and then just like, what is it that they're
get basic
about?
Information, dude. Get the basic information. All you need to know is the property address, property condition, what's got them looking to possibly part ways with the property. So you need to know. Get the basic information from them and tie it in to your notes when you take it on Airtable. I'll look over your notes. We'll look at your notes together. We'll run the property together, and I'll help you because you're going to do this. You're going to negotiate the deal yourself. but I'll help you negotiate the deal. I'll tell you what to tell you or tell you what to tell them. We can do role playing, whatever it is, but I'll help you negotiate that deal.
Do you so I work 9 to 5, and I sometimes I do have the phone available and I can pick it up because I guess my work is not, it's like the computer, but sometimes I can't take it. So do you think like I should say like call or text or something like that, or leave it in the sign, or just call and then people will figure out what to do with it?
Okay, so time kills deals.
Yeah.
Okay, time can kill deals. And if you have, because what you're creating is what's called inbound leads. There's a difference between outbound and inbound. These are inbound leads. These are people that are calling because they're looking to sell the property.
Right.
This is an inbound lead. Okay. So in this case, time can kill a deal 100%.
Yeah.
You want to be on top of your inbound leads because it's a different ballgame. They're more priority. I would always prioritize an inbound lead over an outbound lead.
Mm-hmm.
An outbound lead is where you're reaching out to somebody. You're reaching out to a wholesaler. You're reaching out to you're cold calling sellers. You're cold calling agents. If you have to actively reach out for a deal, that is called outbound.
Right.
Inbound is when the deals come to you. Different ballgame.
Yeah.
So do those two things. And if you cannot manage the phones, find you somebody who can.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I see two people right here who may be able to help with that.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
I got you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see two people right here who may be able to help with that. Hell, use both of them. Utilize them both, man. Utilize them both. Because Savannah's got an immense amount of experience. She knows how to talk to these people. She does. She knows what questions to ask. She knows how to ask these questions, when to ask these questions, where to ask them in the conversation. She knows where to lead the conversation. She's done this. Like she's been doing this for a good minute, man. She knows how to talk. She does a really great job. Blake, I can't speak too much on you, brother.
Hey, I'm on the phones all day. If I got to take a phone call, I'm good with it, man. I'll help you out wherever I can. I mean, we've worked together on this. This is a team effort. I mean, there's not one of us in here that's alone trying to get this done by ourselves.
100%, 100%. So it's not just you, bro. It's not just you. You have like the support you need behind you. You've got the support you need, bro. And if you need help managing these phones, again, these are two amazing individuals that'll help you do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I will try this for sure. And I got I can't back out now, so because you
can't.
to be straight.
Yeah,
So,
you cannot back out.
Yeah.
So
no,
here's the thing, dude. I can teach you everything I know.
Mm-hmm.
I can teach anybody everything I know. But at the end of the day, it's up to that individual to take this information and to put it into play.
Yeah.
You needed a nudge. I just gave you a nudge. Now you have actionable steps to take. And I will make sure that you see them through. I'll make sure you see them through. But here's what I won't do. Okay? I won't drag you out to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that. Because there's three things. Commit, be intentional, be relentless. Okay? Those are my commit, be intentional, be relentless. Gave you action steps, do it. Fairly inexpensive, do it. So, that makes sense?
Yeah, a lot.
Cool.
So,
And now you've also got homework. Vision,
yes.
mission statement, core values. Boom. Got it. And looking at what CRM you want to use. Do you want to use Airtable or do you want to use Trello? Dude, I just gave you So many different action items to take, bro.
Yeah.
But if you do these action items, and hell, Blake, you too, bro. Everybody, if you do these action items, if you do them, it will project you towards results. Like you are more likely to get results than if you don't. So do them. What's the worst that's going to happen? Somebody calls you and tells you, hey, stop posting your ugly freaking signs all over these stop signs in my neighborhood. That's the worst. That's the worst that's going to happen, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. And all you got to do is hang up and laugh about it. That's all
That's
you
true.
got.
That's definitely the way to look at it, because I would think about the other stuff first, which is the whole reason. But yeah, I agree 100%. Do you have any advice for, like, I guess you could say I kind of suck at reflection, because I sometimes I try to like think deep or whatnot, and like nothing really comes out. It's like blank almost. Have you ever run into something like that? Like, you, maybe I just didn't take it serious or something, but I don't know. I don't know if people can relate with that, but I've tried, and it almost just like, yeah, just blank.
When it comes to reflection is one of the hardest things that you can do, especially as a man. It is probably the toughest thing that you'll ever do in your life, dude. Like, reflection is very hard.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at your reflection, or not, let me look at myself in the mirror. No, when you're reflecting, when you're doing reflection, figure out. This is what I did. I figured out, and this is when I, got out of the military, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had to reflect. So I was like, okay, who do I want to be? And what different roles? What kind of man do I want to be? What kind of husband do I want to be? What kind of father do I want to be? What kind of friend do I want to be? Right? I did my self-reflection. I created that Venn diagram, and I put a bunch of different values in it. And it's funny because I'm actually writing a book around this entire thing as well. And I've been writing this book for like ever, because it's always evolving. It's crazy. But when you do your reflections, ask yourself that question. Who do I want to be? What are some things that I want to achieve? Where do I want to be 10 years from now? What am I doing today? And is that in alignment with any of these things? Because if it's not, I guarantee you, and it shouldn't be, it really shouldn't be. Because if it was, you would already be in the direction of achieving those things. There's always room for growth, and there's always room for improvement. And I guarantee you, all of us, every single one of us here, I guarantee you, all of us can really break down and think about a few things that we wish we could adjust or improve about ourselves and who we are. It's kind of like to tell two truths, right? So when you have a client and they just love, like, for example, you get a client, they love their service, right? Like iPhone users. iPhone is trash, okay?
Yeah.
Garbage. iPhone sucks. The worst. Apple, garbage, okay? Let's start there. It's so bad. It's so bad. But here's the analogy I'm getting to, okay?
All right, let's boot Tim from the group. Let's get him out of here.
Here's the analogy I'm getting at is like when you do all of these different reflections and you reflect on what it is that you have and what it is, like the direction you're going, what it is that you want, is it really truly in alignment with where you want to be? That's the big question. Like, that's what it really comes down to. I was going somewhere with this Apple analogy.
Yeah.
And I was bashing on it so much I completely forgot the analogy, but it was bomb, dude. Like, it was fire. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, it popped up in my head. I was like, that's such a great analogy. Let me use it. And then I got distracted by just trash talking Apple, and then it just went away. It's like, dang it.
Yeah.
But
I got you.
do those reflections. Tell a true truth. Remember, tell a true truth. So Apple you can get it with Apple users, and they won't go to Samsung for whatever reason. They won't go with Google for whatever reason, because Apple is amazing and it's so incredible, so compatible. I love it, right? Apple users in a nutshell.
Got blue bubbles.
Yeah, but here's the
We don't
question
like
about that.
bubbles.
It's here's the question for it is like, if you could improve two things about your iPhone, what would you improve? And they're going to list things that they wish they could improve. Everything, no matter what it is that you love, can be improved. And the same goes for ourselves. Man, that was a bomb analogy, wasn't it?
100%.
Mic drop.
Yeah, you're done. No, but that's very true though. It's like I always think about kind of like these things, like you kind of know it, but at the same time, for whatever reason, when you read it in a book or something, like it comes back, you're like, oh yeah, so insightful. But I guess it's just the action, the applying thing. That's where um, I feel like me included, like I miss doing that, like reading a book but applying what I read and things like that. So definitely.
Here's another thing that I'm actually gonna roll out with in the community as well, is a book club.
Okay.
Book club. And what does a book club mean? It means we read books together. We read books together, and we give brief summaries of each chapter that we read. And it's a book a month. That's the idea behind it. And why am I doing this? Well, Patrick David, when he was still running PHP agency, or I think it was PHP agency, when he was still running his health insurance business that he had built up from scratch, that's what he did. He required all of his members in his agency, no matter how big or how small your role was, to read a book a month. And you had to provide your manager with a written summary of a chapter. Like they would assign chapters weekly, and you would have to give summaries that week over that chapter, but it was a book a month. And so I want to start implementing that into the community, because the more books that you read, the more you're going to grow. And if you're able to write down and summarize everything that you read, you're going to have a higher retention rate than of you just going through and reading the book.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's something you do in school, but you kind of forget. At least I did. I read books, and then like what just like I don't need to do that, and then fixed mindset. But yeah, this was great. I think it is funny enough that you picked this topic today. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Hit close to home.
Yes.
Good.
100%. Yeah. All right.
Good. All right. You got your action items. Blake, what are your action items, bro?
My action items. I'll probably run a paid ad on my Facebook, my business page. I learned today how to target my geofencing down into the area where I need to be versus the last one I sent out. It went to Florida, it went to New Jersey. It was all over the place. So I'll run another one for targeting the areas that where we're wanting to be. What I need to do on my end, I need to study more on the contracts, how to fill them out, the proper where to put the property information, not just the address, but like the actual legal information of it, all that. And just do more outreach, man, is what I need to do for my action steps. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as Luis. I work so I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I leave the house before 6, and I'm gone. I'm still at work right now. I've got another hour drive back home. So I need to try to talk with at least one seller or one realtor a day, either or, just to kind of try to at least build relationships with the realtors, or get my name out there to sellers. Try to promote what I'm doing is what my action steps are, I guess, for the near future. Actionable steps that I can take to get to where I need to be. It's funny that you went over the not just the mindset. I'm super big on mindset. I struggle with it quite a bit myself, but I'm super big into it. It's very powerful what the mindset that you bring in for the day. It may change 30 minutes into the day like yours did today, and then you gotta find a way to bring yourself back out of it. So not only that, but the visions, mission statement, and core values. It's something that I went over in another training course that I'm in, probably less than a week ago, and I was thinking about the company that I'm with. What are their visions? What are their mission statements and their core values? Which I know they have core values in place. I know that they have a mission statement, and visions. I don't know what those are, and you kind of opened my eyes to, for the vision. Everybody in your community needs to know what your vision is in order to bring your visions to fruition. Um, Mission statement. That's part of our homework, I believe. I need to get that figured out for myself. I jumped into this wholesale thing. Yeah, quick way to make cash. Let's do it. Super easy. It's not easy. There's work. So I need to figure out what my actual goals are for myself, for my company, for my family, personal goals, and things like that. Core values. I've got some core values in mind, for me as a person, also for my business. I don't know what else.
I think you said a lot, so I think that you know what you need to do. Easier said than done, but definitely,
Yeah.
you seem to know it.
No, it's good, man. That's good. So a lot of reflection for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of reflection, bro. You have a lot of action steps, which is great. When it comes to, and I'm curious, where did you learn about geofencing from?
Well, I think I've known what it is because I'm pretty tied in with the owner here. He pretty much runs all the marketing and stuff, and I see the areas that he's targeting, the surrounding states or whatever, for what we do. But on the last video call that we did, I think it was last Tuesday or whatever, you doing the geofencing within within the real estate platforms that we use. I guess put a name to what I was looking for, I guess, and really narrow down where I'm going wrong with what I just did on my last ad. I don't want to deal in New Jersey.
No, dude. Yeah, geofencing is a really, really great tool, man. The reason I asked is because I hadn't posted that video on YouTube yet because I haven't redone it because it was so bad with all the technical issues. So I got to redo
Yeah,
it.
it was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, but no, that's awesome, bro. And then, by the way, I'm never really one to step on other people's toes, but if you're doing something unethical, I think it should be brought up, especially if you're leading your community. So the other community, yeah, I think, yeah, you informed me that you're a part of Sean's community, right?
Yes, for now.
So it's kind of funny. It's not funny. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of funny. This is like full circle, perfect timing type stuff, but it's terrible timing.
Yeah.
I mean, terrible situation. Anyways, there's a property, dude, that was sent to me straight from a seller, and I've been talking to this guy for a good while now, and we're looking at doing a potential innovation on it. He ended up going different directions, which is fine. And I saw Sean pushing out the same property for assignment of contract. And the seller was wanting 250, and he was hard dead set on this 250, bro. Hard dead set. But Sean was asking for 245, so I was like, interesting. I was like, if he's pushing this out for an assignment of contract, he must have gotten it lower than 245. So I reached out to the seller and I was like, hey man, I just want to make sure you're tracking and I'm not, stepping on anybody's toes, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of this. The buyer that you have now, are you tracking that they're wholesaling your property? And he was like, what? We're not under contract with anybody. And so I took a screenshot and I sent it to him, and I was like, well, you got somebody pushing your deal out, man, pushing your property out. And he got livid. So he's marketing a property that he does not even have under contract, which is super illegal, by the way.
Right.
Extremely illegal to do because you don't have any equitable rights in that contract. You can't market something for assignment when you don't even have equitable rights. So it's a big no-no. So with that information, just be very wary of the things that he teaches. So just be cautious of it. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But, no, dude, you got good action steps. You got some good takeaways from the lesson, which is great. That's good. Yeah, that's really good. Okay. Now, Savannah, what are your action steps?
Okay, well, this is going to sound really stupid, but I never even thought about having my vision statement and my mission statement and stuff. So I have to do that so that when I'm in the process of making the website, I can put it on my website because I never even thought about it. Never even crossed my mind.
I love it.
So, yeah. And of course, I got to go read that book too. The Go-Giver, the one you were telling me about the other day.
It's phenomenal read. I think moving forward, anybody that I come across, to help, I'm going to have them read this book 100%. And so this is also something I'm doing as well. So David, the kid David, super solid kid. He's been on his stuff for the most part. When he's done with all of these training sessions that I've got, or when he's done with all the sessions that I've got on YouTube, he's probably going to see this video. Funny. I'm going to make him start reading. I've got 6 months of this. I've got 6 months. And my goal isn't to just, it's not to just help him understand what the hell wholesaling is. No, the goal is to help him understand what wholesaling is, build it into an actual business, also pour so much into him to where he as an individual and as a man grows himself. That's the goal.
Yeah, I I had sent it to him, sent him the link earlier, and he had told me, because I reached out to him as well, asking if there was something I could do, to help him. And he said that he had been talking to you and that you have him watching, all your videos and stuff. So I told him as he was going through them, if he needs help, just let me know. I can, answer any questions that he has, at least try to. And so I gave him the link and he was like, oh, well, I was going to watch all the videos first. I was like, yes, but you should be doing these too. These are like really good because these are your live ones. And so I was like, these should be your primary and then have all your rest of them as your secondary. So yes, absolutely. But he had appointments or something. And so he couldn't get on tonight, but he said he was definitely going to start getting them.
He's a good kid. I like him a lot. I felt kind of bad, I'm not gonna lie, because Mother's Day. So,
Sunday.
so Mother's Day was Sunday for us. That's like Americans' Mother's Day. But when you look at Mexico, they celebrate on the 10th, and so they're on Friday. I was blowing this kid's phone up on Mother's Day, and it's like late, dude. It's like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm just blowing his phone up, calling because he's not answering, right? And I told him I was gonna be on his ass, so I was calling and calling and calling. He didn't pick up, so I called his mom. I called his mom, and then that's when he texted me because she didn't answer either. And so he texted me. He's like, "Hey man, I'm at the movies with my mom celebrating Mother's Day." I was like, "Oh, bro, I'm so sorry."
Dude, he was probably like, "What's going on?"
I feel so bad.
That's funny. But
Like,
the fact that you're doing so, like, are you? I'm just straight on and ask, like, you're just doing this to like just do it for him or with him, I guess.
Yeah, dude, I'm not charging anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, just like the fact that you're doing that, I mean, that's just huge. So, like, if I had somebody at my age do something like that, I mean, I would be, hopefully also paying it back, but it'll be just so helpful because you have so much time at that age, you just don't realize it, right? Like, we don't know it. But I tell my brother that, and he's just, no, you can only tell him, right? So definitely, I'm just happy that you're doing that for him.
Yeah, man. So I'm telling you, if you read The Go Giver, you guys will understand a lot of the stuff that I'm doing and why I'm doing these things for free. There are irrefutable laws that just fall in place when you do these things. The book covers all of them. And yes, it's free, but the amount of value that I get back in return is immeasurable. It really is. Like, it's very immeasurable. And I don't know, it's rewarding. It's really rewarding. So and then I don't know, man. Like, I could charge, because I get people asking me all the time, like, why aren't you charging for this? Like, you're like, I had somebody tell me that I was dumb because I wasn't charging for this. And it's like, man, I could charge 10, 15 grand for this 100%. But what good does that do me? It doesn't do me any good. It doesn't set me apart. It keeps me like everybody else. Now I just become like every other influencer or wholesale or guru out there. And on top of that, doing this the way that I'm doing it, it builds brand recognition on a whole other level. And when people get deals they need help with, who are they going to come to? They're going to go to a guy that's going to charge them 10, 15 grand to do this shit for them. That's my first cuss word. Dang it. So close. This close.
Hey, you tried.
I tried, man. Are they going to go to that guy that's going to charge them an arm and a leg? Or are they going to go to the guy that didn't ask for a dang thing in return and help them and do continual business with that person? They're more likely to come that took time out, didn't charge them a dang thing to do business, because that's how you form relationships. That is the difference between creating relationships and transactional relationships. Everybody's all about transactions. Everybody's all about money. Everybody values money more than they do the relationship with another person. And when you're in business, cool. Yeah, money plays a big vital role in it for sure. But who you are, your reputation, relationships you build are the mountain that you're going to mine from. That's the mountain you're mining from. The more relationships you build, the more mountains you'll. But when you keep this stuff just transactional, it's not a whole lot to mine.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason we run the meetup the way we do, our Facebook page.
Yeah.
About family, not just transactions. Yeah.
For sure. Well, I mean, dang, deep.
I know.
Yeah, definitely got just just like things to think about, and just taking the time out of the day and actually do it, because it's just easy to put off, but it's like so huge when it's when the time gets tough. It's like that, like how you cover it. So for sure.
Yeah, bro, 100%. Well, before we hop off, does anybody have any questions?
Real quick, I find it interesting you mentioned Ty Lopez. I remember back in I don't even know when, just watching YouTube, he would pop up, because he had like the book and the Ferrari or something. I always thought like, oh, that guy is probably like a scammer, or just not scammer, but like he just same thing everybody says. So, but you found his thing useful.
Yeah, dude. Ty had some, and I didn't just get the 67 steps, man. Yeah, actually quite a bit. And really, I kind of owe Ty a lot of credit as to why I got into this space to begin with. So started off, I got his 67 steps, but I also got his digital marketing academy as well. So because that teaches you how to build like a marketing agency. And I did that, dude. I ran with it, landed a few successful clients, but I don't know, it wasn't all passionate about it. But it was that initial course that really made me realize, like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to have a 9-to-5. I don't want to really essentially work in corporate America and work, at a job until I retire and depend on my 401k and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the paradigms that I had earlier on really came from Ty. So Ty poured a lot into me, and so I do owe him a lot.
Dang.
Yeah.
I should have followed through with a video ad or whatever. So, well, that's good to know. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Awesome.
Sweet. Everybody good?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Cool. All right, y'all. Have a good evening.
Have a good one.
Sure, you too.
Later, y'all.